Hello and welcome to Run It Back for this week. I'm your host Kyle Ramran, joined by my boy Cody Wiles over here. No Zolfi for this week; he's a little bit tied up, but we will hold it down for this week and welcome him back next week. And right before we get into the video, I want you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, it helps out the channel, helps out us, gets our names out there more. And one more thing, Raptors Republic right now is currently hosting a giveaway, a $250 Fanatics gift card. If you sign up on our website right now for the giveaway, you know the holiday seasons are right around the corner. If you want to get something for the friends or family and win this giveaway, it's the perfect thing. Just head over to again raptorsrepublic.com and sign up there. But without further ado, let's run it back.
Like always, we kick things off by recapping action from the entire week, and it was an action packed week for the Raptors, so let's take a look. Raptors start off the road trip by heading down to Detroit to take on the Pistons. Hopefully, they can buckle down and get that first road win of the season. The Pistons came out the gate swinging in the first quarter, nailing timely shots and building up a double-digit lead. However, the Raptors would come right back in the second, largely thanks to Mr. Scottie Barnes, who would nail 3 threes in the second and continue to pour it on offensively. Jaden Ivey also wasn't trying to let this one slip, almost scoring at will at points. The battle continued throughout the third as both teams traded buckets and hit each other with haymakers. Scottie and RJ would show out in the fourth, scoring when needed to help and try and push the team ahead. Barnes would score a clutch layup to help tie the game with 22 seconds left, but it would seem like luck was not on the Raptors' side as Ivy would hit a contested running floater to win the game at the buzzer 102-100. Despite the loss, Scottie had a monster game with 31 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists. Moving on to the next game, the Raps headed to New Orleans to finally see if they could end that streak and get their first win on the road. It looks like the Raptors had their own version of the Splash Bros on the court tonight as Jamison Battle and Ochai combined for 48 points, while also hitting 6 threes each. The game was back and forth throughout the first as both teams traded buckets headed into the second. However, it was all the Raptors from this point on, locking in on both offense and defense, taking the lead and never looking back. They held the Pelicans to 38% shooting from the field and 31% from three, while the Raps themselves shot 50% from the field. RJ Barrett had himself a game, notching a double-double with 22 points and 11 assists. The Raptors would cruise to a 119-93 win for their first road victory of the season, breaking that dreaded losing streak. Up next, the team headed to South Beach as they faced off against the Miami Heat in an NBA Cup game. Toronto would jump out to an early 11-4 lead in the first, but Miami would answer right back, knocking down shots from beyond the arc and taking it right at the Raptors' paint to chip away at the Raptors' lead. Both teams would struggle to pull away heading into the third, but Toronto would go on a 12-0 run to take a 2-point lead. However, just like the first quarter, Miami would answer with a 19-2 run to take a 96-81 lead and never look back. Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero went nuclear this game, combining for 49 points to help Miami secure the victory. Looking on the bright side, Jakob, RJ, and Scottie would all have great games, combining for 73 of the Raptors' points. Also, Barnes and Bam would also notch themselves a triple-double in the process with 10 assists and 10 rebounds. And finally, rounding out this week, the Raptors would head back home to hopefully get some revenge on the Miami Heat. It seemed as both teams learned something from their last battle as this game went straight down to the wire. Once again, both RJ Barrett and Scottie Barnes would come alive in this game, hitting big-time shots and attacking the basket at will. Both of them would come through for the team in the clutch to help the team stay ahead, and the Raptors would lead 116-110 with a minute left in the quarter, but that was quickly cut to a 3-point lead as Tyler Hero, who had been hot all game, hit a tough three in the corner. Despite the three from Hero, the Raptors stuck to the game plan and hit some clutch free throws to secure the victory at home. The Maple Mamba RJ would finish with 37 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists, and Scottie Barnes would finish just shy of a triple-double with 23 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. If Barnes managed to get that triple-double, he would have been the first Raptors player ever to get a triple-double in back-to-back games. That brings us to the end of the week. Toronto finishes 2-2 for that week and now are 6-15 on the season and stay at the 13th spot in the Eastern Conference. So let's break it all down.
So I'm gonna throw it to you immediately, Cody, right off the bat. Your biggest takeaways from this week?
I think it's been the play of Scottie Barnes. He's been fantastic. He's coming off his 6th career triple-double, second most in Raps history. He's behind Kyle Lowry. Do you know how many Kyle Lowry has with the Raps? Yeah, do you know?
It's, I want to say like how you said what's Scotty's at 6,
Yeah, and that's second most.
3, Lowry at 3.
Lowry's in first, sorry.
Oh,
Lowry's in
okay.
first.
I feel like it's not a crazy amount though. I feel like I'm gonna say like
I didn't even know how many of those was until I looked.
I want to say like 25.
close. 16, 16.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's still quite a bit for a guard to get in that triple double.
Okay.
But yeah, he has been great since coming back from injury. Over his last 5 games, 21 and
Mhm,
a half points, 9 rebounds, 7.5 assists, 2 stocks since coming back. And he's
mhm,
been a difference maker on defense. Like, he's been making a huge impact on that end of the floor, which is expected. The Raps have had a top 12 defense since he's come
mhm.
back. He's been doing everything. He's making them play like a team. I think Samson has done like a big old thing on Scotty since he's come back, making him play like a team. Yeah, that's been the biggest takeaway for me. How about you?
I mean, for me, honestly, yeah, same as well. Like I've been looking to see what how Scotty and RJ would kind of work together right now, because like when Scotty was out, we've seen RJ move up that hierarchy, as I mentioned last week. But they work together great. It hasn't felt like there's this tug of war between who's running the offense and who's getting the ball. Like when you look at the Heat game, everybody kind of got their share. Jakob had 24 points, Scotty had 24 points, RJ had 25. So it feels like the core pieces of the team are eating, and Scotty is remaining as that number one piece on the team that we want to build around. He's assisting the ball, he's playing the defense, he's grabbing the boards. The energy is up there, and I don't know if it's the glasses Scotty just making him act differently. I don't know if it's like the mask LeBron meme, but for me at least, Scotty and would say Jameson Battle. He had that fantastic game. I think, was it against the Pistons, or was it against, no, the Pelicans?
Yeah,
It was no. I wanted to see him shine. I saw earlier in the season he came in last minute and dropped like 9 points in like 2 minutes or something like that. So I kind of saw the spark there, but this is something we really kind of saw what he can do, and he can stretch the floor, high energy. What do you think about his performance the other day?
Jameson Battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's been great as well. Like these quartet of Jays rookies I've been calling
Yeah.
these Toronto Raptors young guns, Jamal Shed, Jameson Battle, Jacoby Walter, and Jonathan Mobo have
Mhm.
all played well. They've all done their thing. Even against Miami, the first game here, they were all four on the court at the same time with Scottie Barnes. Like it's really fun to see them. Yeah, battle against New Orleans was obviously really, he played fantastic.
Mhm.
24 points for the kid, uh, 9 of 11 from the field, 6 of 8 from three. He plays his role to a T, Kyle. Like
Mhm.
he hits the shots, catch and shoot looks. He's hitting those,
Mhm.
not turning the ball over, and he competes on D. I don't know why I stuttered there for a second, but his play has left me speechless because this
I
is
was about to say, yeah.
the Raps got their own, like, who is this sharpshooter guy?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But yeah, he's been great. So I wanted to ask you this. He's been active for 20 games now,
Mhm.
as a two-way contract player. So that's 40% of the way to his max being active on the NBA roster. So my question to you is, he's been really good. He's found a role. He's in the rotation. Would you convert him eventually when that time comes, or would you just max him out to the NBA games played, and then he's gonna have to be in the G League for the rest of the year?
Personally, for me, I'd bring him up to the big boy squad, like permanently, because it's not like we're going for the NBA finals right now. We need to figure out who belongs on this team, who has what role, and it seems like he's fit the role great. Honestly, you gave him like some time to develop in the G League. Now he's figured out his spot on the main roster. What he's gonna do, just stretch the floor, play defense. You don't have to do anything crazy. You got the other guys like IQ, RJ, Scotty. Those guys are the ones to lead the offense, kind of the big boys on the team. But his position is 3 and D, like you're saying. He went 6 for 8 from three the other day. And with a guy like Grady being out right now, and we can speak on that a little bit later, like he fits that immediately. He can slot right in, as a guy that can help stretch the floor, create looks for either RJ or Scotty, and just make their lives easier. So for me, at least, like the way he's developed, and he showed a flash of it right there, that he can be a mainstay on this team. And I believe that he could.
Yeah, it will be interesting because then part of the question is also who gets waived, right?
Yeah.
Because you need the roster spot. But I think they're gonna play it all right to where Grady should be coming back soon. He's got that calf strain, soreness, whatever
Mhm.
they're calling it. They've moved it. They've changed the definition of it. Bruce Brown was supposed to be. The original thought was he was going to be back on this road trip.
Mhm.
It's not. The Raptors are back at home now, and he's been ruled out for the Miami game on Sunday here. So, but with those two coming back, that's kind of in the position of Jameson Battle, so maybe he ends up getting sent down here for quite a bit and gets some run in the G League to preserve some of those games. But he's been good, so fair play to him that he's going to be forcing he might force the Raptors' hand, because I think the one guy who could get away would be Bruno Fernando. Deal
Yep.
doesn't get fully guaranteed till January, so the Raptors wouldn't have to eat any money on that, even though they're in a position where they could eat some money.
Hmm.
Um, but also, Jacoby Walter has
Oh
made his return for the Raptors, and that's somebody else I wanted to talk about. Well, the second quartet of Jays
yeah.
will bring up. He's played a couple games with uh, the Raptors big club. He also played a couple games with the 905, so he's fully back into it. He started for the Toronto Raptors, which
Hmm.
was kind of shocking, but this is a team that needed the 3-point shooting. They're uh, near the bottom of the league in 3-point attempts, and then to even add on to that, they're not even hitting a lot of those attempts. They're near the bottom of the league in 3-point percentage as well. But Jacoby Walter, he was much better, I think, against New Orleans than he was
Yeah.
against Miami. 14 points, 11 rebounds against New Orleans, that double double, 5 assists, 2 steals. Didn't shoot at the best, only 6 of 14 from the field and 2 of 10 from three, a plus 31 though.
Yeah.
So he was really, really effective. He played his role. It's funny because we talk about all these rookies, and he's been the one that hasn't got to show the
Hmm.
most, just because of injuries. Like the two shoulder injuries is tough, same injury. But what did you think of Jacoby now that he's back and fully healthy?
Like I'm taking the same approach as I did with Grady last year. I'm not trying to put too much expectations on Jacoby, but honestly, I feel like if he didn't get injured to start the season, we could have possibly been having rookie of the year conversations with Jacoby because I
Oh.
believe that much in him. Like, yeah, he did shoot 2 for 10. Okay, that Grady was struggling last season too. Give him some time to develop the shot; it'll come. But he's doing everything else correct. Like he's scoring, he's being aggressive, he's playing that high energy defense, he's doing what we need him to do. He's not expecting to take major leaps, and we're not putting that pressure on him regardless. Like you said, 14 points, 11 rebounds, 2 steals, and that's what I knew from him coming into our team. We needed someone who could play that 3 and D. We needed somebody who could help kind of mask our problems on defense, just a little bit. And the injury set him back a bit, but I feel like now he's getting into that groove. And while I feel like it was kind of just out of nowhere to start him, I feel like those minutes were beneficial, though. I feel like playing against the Pelicans, playing against a team like that, again, when there's no pressure at all, it just helps his development along. I supported it 100%, and I feel like he can just only grow from here.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
the fact that they started him. I mean, hey, yeah, I just mentioned the Raptors need to shoot some threes. Jacoby Walter, Jameson Battle can definitely
yeah.
help with that. And even something I noticed with the 905 a lot, and I did notice it with these two games up with the big club, the defense has really it's popped to some
Hmm.
degree, on ball and off ball. I know some people have loved the on ball stuff more than me, the ball pressure he's providing.
Hmm.
Uh, at the 905, he did the same thing. He was picking up, he played 2 games against the Long Island Nets, and Killian Hayes, Jacoby Walter was picking him up full court. And say what you want about Killian Hayes,
Hmm.
that's a lottery pick. That's a really good player in the G League that Jacoby Walter was picking up full court, and he did really well. I thought the off ball defense was really something. I've been clipping up all these clips of Jacoby with the 905, and his off-ball defense really is something that stands out to me. He's always stunting, always seems to be in the right position, and he has long arms. I think it's a 6'10" wingspan, if I'm remembering correctly, and he uses it. He's always digging in at the right times. Seems to have a knack to like an understanding of what to
Hmm.
do on that end of the floor, which for rookies is I think is not unheard of, but it's definitely the defense is one of the more slower things to come along for these young guys. But I love the performance from Jacoby Walter, Jameson Battle too. Mobo and Shed, I think, started out a lot more hot
Yeah,
and have maybe faltered lately. Shed more so than Mobo. Mobo's been a bit more consistent. Mobo is one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. I
in
think
the league. Yeah.
I saw S tweet about that, and I think it was a perfect way to say that because he just does everything, man. Do you have any thoughts on
It's
Mobo? We're talking about all the quartet of Jays right now, so why not?
no,
I love Mobo.
Same. I've loved Mobo from the start. Just watching him play, and it feels like it feels like he's just always playing with a chip on his shoulder. Like he's got something to prove. Like he wants to determine that he belongs on this team when he's more than well proved that. And going back to your point with the offensive rebounding, I feel like this goes unnoticed, but the Raptors are like low key good at offensively rebounding the ball.
They're fantastic. Yeah.
I think Jakob's number one in the NBA. With I saw a stat the other day, he's like 91 offensive rebounds. So this team has got the makings, and something I want to bring up too is they're a couple games back from the play-in, and I saw Samson talking about this the other day, like with him and the Hornets kind of comparison. It's just two fun bad teams, but yet the East is so weak. They're that close to the play-in. So what do you think? Should we kind of get to that play-in spot and maybe make a little run there if we can, or is it capture the flag?
I mean, if you're asking me what I would want personally, or what do you think the Raptors will do? Because I don't know if they're gonna play the guys. The guys are gonna get
Mhm.
healthy, and they're gonna play them, and so it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. And I think you don't need to be the worst team in the league to win the lottery. I think that's been proven,
Yeah.
and I think that's very understood. And to be honest, like if we're looking at the standings in general, I don't think we're catching the Washington Wizards. They, believe, are on a 13 game losing streak, and they
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
that's pretty bad, obviously. So Toronto has way too much talent to be at the bottom of the league.
Mm.
Unfortunately, if you are a capture the flag guy, which I think a lot of us are. I think on the show we are, and I would love to see it, but like Grady Dick is not going to be out for much longer. Bruce Brown is ramping up. Kelly Olynyk has been doing some solo work. So has Emmanuel Quickly, and those are the main four guys that are all ruled out right now. They're going to be back, and we're getting contributions from the rookies. Scottie Barnes is looking great. We just talking about Jacoby Walter. He's going to continue to get more comfortable. Uh, Like and like you mentioned, the East is so bad around the Raptors that they are right there
Yeah.
in the hunt. So it's gonna be fun. We'll see what happens in this next. They got a homestand coming up. They've been
Yeah.
terrible on the road this year. They have one road win, but they got their next 6 games at home. I
Oh,
believe I could check that, but they're gonna have a nice homestand here. So we're gonna get a yeah, 6 straight games at home. We're gonna
yeah.
have a better understanding of where this team is after the stretch of games, because this is not the easiest stretch they got coming up at home here. Wait, is this 7 games at home? It is 7 games
If
at
we're
home.
including that Miami game,
Yeah,
yeah,
on
yeah,
Sunday. Yeah, wow. So they're gonna go up against Miami again, who they were in that game for a little bit until the second half, and it got away from them. Indiana hasn't been off to the best start. They've
yeah,
already beat them, so we'll see where that goes. Oklahoma City is one of the best teams in the league. Dallas Mavericks are always
mhm,
dangerous. OG Anunoby comes back to Toronto with the
yeah,
Knicks. The Brooklyn Nets have been playing better than people expected, and now the Houston Rockets are also one of the best teams in the West. So, big homestand here for the Toronto Raptors. This could really shift. I mean, everything's so close. So this next like homestand here, we'll see where the other teams go, and then hopefully injury luck stays on the Raptors side. They've already
I'm
been
praying.
demolished by injuries, but this next homestand is going to be big for them.
Yeah, like I'm gonna have to agree with you too. Like I know a lot of us are like we obviously want Cooper Flag. Like I feel like every team right now is aiming gunning for that Cooper Flag. But I feel like when we have all the guys, we might inch into the players or we might make the plans. And I feel like I'm happy where the team is right now that we're competing as hard as we can. We're not purposely out here like I don't want to say throwing games, but losing games and just being bad. Because when they're playing with their high energy and they're playing to win, we can see what this team is capable of. And
Exactly.
we even have it like we haven't seen the team fully healthy, so we haven't seen them what they're fully capable of yet. With IQ and RJ and Grady and Jakob all playing at a full pace with Jacoby in there too. And I feel like Jacoby too, like fully healthy, developed. I feel like he can be one of the best defenders on this team. He can be one of the best 3-and-D guys if he fully just live up to his potential. And like if they were out here losing, then what would really be the point of like kind of watching this season? A lot of fans would tune out. They'd be like, "That's not what I want to see." But we're seeing these guys compete. We're seeing them play with energy. We're seeing how they're executing in late game. We're seeing how they're developing the different players. So I feel like what I'm taking the route of whatever happens, happens. If we make the play in, I'm gonna sit there and watch the play in the playoff games. If we don't make it, then I hope we get capture the flag. We get Cooper Flag over there. For me, it's just whatever way we go. I'm excited to see. I don't really feel like they should tank or just outright tank because what they're doing right now is perfectly fine with me.
Yeah, I agree. Like if you want them to be bad while everyone's healthy, then that means everybody's playing bad, and that means they possibly cannot. The players on the team cannot be developing or whatnot. If the players are just going to be playing well and they're going to end up making a play in, so be it. That
Mhm.
just means the squad's playing well, and it's going to be what it's going to be. It's not meant to be. You could still get Cooper Flag being in the play-in tournament. The
Yeah.
Atlanta Hawks were not just in the play-in tournament last year. Got the first overall pick. Now I get that was like a 1% chance or whatever it was, 1.3.
Mhm.
But just being the worst team in the league doesn't mean you get first overall pick. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. Like big homestand coming up.
Yeah, and I know right before we transition, I know you're gonna talk about your boys over at the 9 to 5, but right before we transition, I know Ochai was hooping against the against New Orleans, right? And I saw Raptors Republic. They posted a graphic and they said "Walk with me," and it was the Ochai and Mikal Bridges comparison. So, can we start a dialogue, or do you think there's nothing behind that?
No comment, no comment. The stat head like comparison has like ruined basketball, man. It really is crazy. But hey, Ochai has been playing well though. Ochai has been playing well. So I'll give him his credit. I mean, against New
Yes.
Orleans is when he had the really good game. 9 of 10 from the field, cashed in 6 threes, 24 points. He was a plus 33. He was really good in that game. They're challenging him
Mhm.
defensively, which is great. Um, and he's in line to. I think they're gonna give him another contract. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's playing coming into the year. That was a conversation though, and he this season has really proved that he can be a player on this team. He's averaging over 12 points this season, nearly 5 rebounds, 1.7 stocks, and he's shooting the ball well. And I think that's been the biggest. Right? He's 47.6% from three on over 4 attempts.
That's
That's
insane.
that's
Like that.
fantastic. That we would have never even thought that. We were talking about wanting him to just be a league average like 34, 35%. He's the best three-point shooter on the team right now. He's
Yeah.
better than Jamison Battle on more volume.
Mhm.
It's been a wonderful development. Ochai Agbaji, let's go.
Yeah, I'm on this hype train. You know, just like you said, like just against the Pelicans, he shot 6 for 7 from three and 9 for 10 from the field. Like he only missed one shot in that game while being plus 33. And I feel like I couldn't see this coming. You know, in the preseason, like I was expecting like just a solid level of play from him, but to shoot the ball this well, it has been incredible. And
Yeah.
you know, it's just the team is just full of surprises. But you know, moving down the line, our boys over at the 905, I believe they had one game this week. So I'm gonna let you take it away there and give us your thoughts.
Yeah, one game this week for the 905. Weird schedule they got going on. They
Hmm.
had one game this week, and now they got, I think that's 6 days off until December 3rd when they play the Greensboro Swarm. They got, uh, I think Maine took it to them. They played the Maine Celtics. They had one of the best players in the league on the team, JD Davison, who they relatively contained. He only had 18 points, 4 of 13 from the field. It was Drew Peterson who killed them, though.
Hmm.
5 threes for him, 33 points. He was tough for them, but for the 905, it was a loss. I don't know if I said the score 121, 114, 905 fall. Quincy Guerrier was fantastic for
Hmm.
them. Um, just got back from FIBA duties. He was in Saskatchewan, um, FIBA AmeriCup qualifiers for Team Canada, and he came back and didn't miss a beat. 27 points, 9 rebounds, an assist on top of that, 11 to 21 from the field. He was easily the best player through and through. Competed defensively. He contested shots at the rim, long arms. He can defend multiple positions. He was really good from Montreal, Quebec. He was fantastic, along with Kennedy Chandler. Both of them were really effective in that one. Unfortunately, it didn't end up in a win. 905 fell to 2-6. But all in all, things got away from them in the second half there, or sorry, in the first half. They were able to bring it back a little bit in the second half. They had more points in the third quarter. I think it was 48 that they did in the first half,
That's
45 in the first half. So they brought it back a little bit. But yeah, 905 fall to 2-6. They're continuing their homestand here. So we'll see what happens. But they got some time off now.
So I want to ask right off the bat, like, so we've seen, like you said, they're 2-6. We've seen them. Yeah, they had their wins, but they're also having their struggles this season. I want to ask you, like, what do you think is causing those struggles? Is it injuries? Is it the guys moving up and down? Is it lack of consistency? But from what you've seen and watched, why is this team kind of struggling to find their footing?
Yeah, so I think it's been a lot of offensively. There's a lot of stagnation. I feel.
Mhm.
I feel like they're not. Um, there's not a lot of movement, and sometimes it can get stagnant if they're not playing with pace, and they're not, which they are really good at playing with pace. They're third in the league in the G League at pace. They're third in the league at assists per game. They're playing how the big club, the Raps, want to play, which is typically how G League teams operate. They want to get out in transition, play fast, move the ball, and when they're not doing that, when they get into the half court, uh, things tend to break down. They don't really have that one guy to go get a bucket. Like Kennedy Chandler's kind of been that, but
Mhm.
there's been some struggles there. Even though I thought I think he's been pretty good. It's just not maybe the most efficient way to go. They also can't rebound.
Yeah.
They're 27th in the G League in rebounds. They're bottom five in allowing second chance points. Like they're allowing like nearly 20 points off of second chance points alone, and they can't hit a free throw, just like the Raptors. I don't know what's going on. Like I can't even provide analysis on that because it's just one of those things where you just kind of have to hit it, just rep it out.
Yeah.
29th in the league in free throw percentage, only 64.4%. So that's been the bigger problems for them. Um, I think it's fixable stuff. Like you can fix the rebounding. I talked to Drew about it. It's just about putting a body on, turning your head, and going out and getting it. They have the guys to go board. Shamshay
Mhm.
is he's working on the positioning, but he's very physical, very athletic. He should be able to continue to dominate on the boards. Quincy Guerrier is another good rebounder. Dylan Disu, who comes off the bench, is a good rebounder. So they can get that figured out. The strengths for this team, I'll talk about the strengths as well.
Mhm.
What's gotten them some of their wins? I mentioned they're moving the ball around, third in the league in assists per game. They're ninth in the league in 3-point percentage too. So they've actually been cashing in from deep, partly because of Tyree Key. If anybody remembers the opening game, he hit the crazy buzzer beater for the
Yeah.
win. He's continued to be one of the best players off the bench. Him and Disu have really impressed me off the bench. Uh, they've been defending really well as well. They're at least maybe not defending well, but they are generating a lot of turnovers. They're 10th in the league in blocks and fourth in the league in steals. They're playing a really aggressive defense. They're picking up full court. I mentioned Jacoby when he was down was picking up Killian Hayes. You'll see Kennedy Chandler pick up full court all
Mhm.
the time. When Jamal Shed was down for the home opener, he was doing the same thing. But it's resulted in a bunch of fouls, Kyle. They're
Yeah.
last in the league, worst in the league in fouls per game. They're fouling nearly 25 times per contest. So it's a bit of a give and take, but that's kind of the overall first 8 games for the 905. What's been going well, what hasn't? What have you seen from the squad?
Honestly, like again, from what mentioned last week with Kennedy Chandler, like I had my eye on him. I had my eye on him from the last game. That really kind of. I know it's kind of like DJ Carton's been out, and that's why sort of like the shot taking has kind of shifted. But he really impressed me. Him and Quincy this game, he shot 12 for 16 from the field, 1 for 2 from three. He's showing his aggressiveness. He's also showing his ability to play make with 7 assists as well. And that's really impressed me. If we need, hopefully in the future, if we need someone like a guy, if the Jamal Shed project doesn't work out, maybe Kenny Chandler can step up and be that guy. But I know you mentioned too the fouling has been an issue, and with Shamshay, I'm looking. He had a bit of a quiet game. 4 points, 4 turnovers, 5 personal fouls. What do you think is going on with him? Is it just kind of a one bad game? Don't look into it too much, or should we be the red flags are coming up?
Yeah, well, the fouling has definitely been
Yeah.
a problem for him, but that's not even just a Shamshay thing. Like young bigs,
Hmm.
who like to go up and contest. He contests everything at the rim, so that's one. And he wants to block shots. That's his best attribute, and so that sometimes results in getting a bit jumpy, getting a bit aggressive. But against Maine, he had 3 fouls in like 20 seconds. Like
Yeah.
it was 3 straight possessions where he had a foul
Hmm.
on defense, and he had a moving screen, or it might have been like a moving screen, then a foul on defense, and then a moving screen again. Like it was something like that. He had 3 straight possessions of
Hmm.
fouls, so he just ultimately was held off of the court because of the foul trouble he got in. I think he's played really well. It's been ups and downs. To be
Mm,
fair, it's been one game he's blocking everything, contesting everything, being efficient on offense, playing his role, and then other games against Maine, getting into foul trouble, not really impacting the game. So it's been. He's 18.
yeah,
Birthday has
yeah.
been. We're recording this on November 30th. His birthday's in a month. He turns 19 on December 30th. With, by the way, like that's such a crazy birthday. Like the second latest day you could
Yeah.
possibly, you know, um, it changes everything, right? But Drew has spoken highly about
Mhm,
Orish Shamshay. One of the things he's mentioned, I don't remember if I've mentioned this on the pod before, but he said one of the most impressive things with him is he's able to see on film and on the practice court and then apply it into a game like
mhm,
instantly, which he said was has really impressed him about him. He said the energy and effort is there. Uh, he's it's been a lot of teaching and development that Shanche has received, and he's been applying it. And he's also said they're happy with how hard he's playing, how he's rebounding, how he's blocking shots. Uh, he has also said he's offensively a work in progress,
mhm.
but he said he's already much better than he was. He's played 8 games. Like it's a long process. I don't think he should be called up to the Raptors anytime soon. I think they're
Mhm.
gonna play it slow, which I think is the right call. But he's been ups and downs, but the ups are he looks great, and then the downs are well, he's just not going to be in the game. So
Yeah, like I honestly agree with you. I feel like again for me, when it comes to the rookies and when it comes to the younger developing guys, like I don't like to put too much pressure on them. I know he has a lot of upside, but again, like you said, he's only 18 years old. I look at the foul trouble. I look, he did have a more quiet game, but I'm not gonna nitpick it too much. Like he's still learning kind of his footing in the G League. He's still learning kind of the ins and outs. And again, he's super young, super young. These are all very fixable things that he can work on, that he can fix. He can find his role and rhythm on this team, and the slower the better. The slower the better they develop with him. I feel like if you were to bring him up onto the big boy roster, it puts that much more pressure on him. I mean, he puts that much more eyes on him, and I feel like I don't want to say he's not ready for the lights yet, but it just it might do more harm than good to bring him onto the Raptors, and it might kind of stunt that development a little bit just because of the Raptors fans who are not keeping up with the 905. They're like, okay, yo, who is this guy? We've seen a lot of good things about him. What can he do? And say he does have a quiet game or does have a bad game, immediately they'll come down on him. So I think that like what you said, taking it slow and steady is as the best possible route they can with him. And last thing I want to ask you before we get back onto the big boys club is this upcoming week. What do you want to see from this team? Not even just a game. Like, what is something you want to see either the team do better, grow, or is there a player you have your eye on?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm always gonna have my eyes on Orish, who we were
Mm,
just talking about. Like, he's been one of the guys I've been really monitoring really closely. I'm gonna have a big piece coming out on him
mhm,
soon. A video essay I'm gonna try to do. So he's somebody. Obviously, I'm just me personally, and I think a lot of people have interest in him. So that's why I just keep watching his play, keep watching the consistency. I want to see him shoot a three. He's shot a three already this year. I believe he shot only one. He missed it,
mm,
but I mean, the three looks good. I was talking to Josh Cordnera about
mm,
his shot, and he said it looks solid. There's some things to fix. Tighter upper body, tighter core that can be fixed out. Maybe a wider base, but overall, it's a good starting point. So maybe that's just as a fun little thing to look out for. But I think the movement offensively I want to see in the half
mm,
court. I want to see that improve because they'll go stretches where they're just not scoring. And when they're not playing with pace, things can get uh not the greatest. Like they're basically their only source of offense in the half court is Kennedy Chandler using his quick first step
mm.
to get into the paint and dish or to finish at the rim. That's really what they got going for them in the half court. So they need more movement, need to find more ways to score on that end,
Mhm.
and then just keep, like I said, just keep playing with pace. Like
Yeah.
if you're not going to be able to improve in the half court, then make sure you're really playing with pace, rebound the ball better, because that will just help you play with pace if you're able to grab those defensive boards and then push and then hit a free throw. Uh, they're like I mentioned, third last in the league in free throw percentage. If you're going to play with pace and get to the rim, you're going to get fouled a lot.
Mhm.
So I would love for them to be hitting those free throws because they're getting to the line quite a bit. So uh, that's kind of the biggest takeaways for me. What I'm looking forward to.
Mhm. Honestly, yeah, like again, taking the words out of my mouth. For me, at least, it's just I have my eyes on Candy Chandler. I feel like I'm very high on him right now, just seeing the way he's been hooping. I hope the team can honestly fix the rebounding a little bit. I feel like again, like you said, very fixable issues with the free throw. So hopefully they improve on that stand. I feel like the team can. This is not a losable season. I feel like this is a very fixable season, and they can turn this around.
I will say DJ Carton is back now as well, so he's
Okay,
somebody to keep an eye on.
yeah.
He just made his return against Maine
Mhm.
last week or this week, so will continue. He's only played 3 games. It was a 5 game absence.
Yeah.
He was on a minutes restriction, didn't play the best, but looking forward to him. That should help more on the half court, take some load off of Chandler's plate.
Mhm.
He plays fast too. He's a quick guy, so he can also play. In transition, play with pace. So that's DJ Carton should help this team for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna ask too, like if he was on a minutes, is he going forward? Is it gonna be a minutes restriction, or is it they're taking it off?
We'll see. I'll ask Drew for you on Wednesday, but he only played 19 minutes
Yeah.
um against Maine. So
Okay.
I mean, Jacoby Walter was on a minutes restriction for
Mhm.
both games he played. I'm assuming DJ will be on some sort of. They're not going to run him to the ground, especially with that ankle. So yeah, we'll see. I'll ask though for sure.
Mhm. And again, like go transitioning here, looking ahead to like talked about looking ahead with the 905, but with the big boys club now upcoming this week, and this is not counting the game on Sunday with Miami Heat. We have the Indiana Pacers, the Thunder, and the Dallas Mavericks. For me at least, what I'm looking forward to, I'm kind of a sicko here, and I know this is gonna sound wild, but I'm looking forward to the Dallas Mavericks game because if I'm Darko, I wanna see how a guy like Jacoby Walter can maybe guard a guy like Kyrie Irving or Luca. I know it's kind of wild because he's a rookie, but I that just shows you how much I believe in his defense, and I feel like what other better test than some of the best offensive players in the league, And again, I'm not expecting him to hold them to zero. I just want to see how does he play a guy like Kyrie Irving? How does he guard a guy like Luca? That game alone, I'm expecting us to like honestly, like if we win the game, I'm celebrating, but I fully expect us to lose that game. But I just want to see how maybe a guy like Scotty can guard a guy like Luca. He developed a bit more. He's one of the best defenders on the team right now. And for me, at least defensively, I just want to see kind of how Darko handles that game, what lineups we run against the lineup of Clay, Kyrie, Luca as well. I don't know how you feeling about this upcoming week.
I mean, yeah, you kind of touched on it a little bit. I think defensively all week they got
Mhm,
some big time guards that they're gonna have to guard. You got Tyrese Halliburton, who I mean maybe isn't having the strongest year, but OKC's got a couple of guards
mhm,
that we obviously all know about in Shea Gilgeous Alexander, J Dub, Jalen Williams, and more. So it'll be, and then obviously you just mentioned the guys out in Dallas. So the defense for me as a whole is going to be the takeaway. They were seventh in defensive rating over the last 10 games before the first Miami game. They've had a top 12 D since Scotty came back for
mhm,
the last 5 games. So just continuing to see how they defend because that's been I mean, they couldn't defend anybody really to start the year. So it's great that it's trending. It's been trending in the right direction, which is fantastic. Big test this week, though.
mhm,
So it's going to be fun to see, especially with Scotty back. Bruce Brown should be back.
mhm.
Grady Dick should be back this week, hopefully. I would hope.
Yeah.
Um, so the defensive play for me is going to be the big indicator. But yeah, that's the main thing I'm looking forward to. It's going to be a fun week. Big tests coming up, so should be fun.
Yeah, like I don't know how serious the leg strain is with Grady Dick, but hopefully we see him return. Hope because I want to see how we play against these teams with type of lineups. I wish we had a fully healthy squad because it would be so fun to see us balance against the OKC
Yeah.
and the Dallas Mavericks. Because I honestly feel like we would have a really good shot with a fully healthy squad.
Yeah,
So
still haven't seen we still haven't had a barbecue this year. Still
yeah,
haven't seen it's getting cold though. It snowed the other day. We haven't had a barbecue. We gotta, gotta get out there. The big three haven't played yet. So hopefully that's not gonna happen this week, I don't think. But
oh no,
hopefully we like knock on wood, at some point in the near future, we should be seeing a fully healthy Raptors squad.
Mhm.
Let's just hope and pray.
Yeah, like last year we were fiending for that pizza party. Now we're just fiending for one barbecue, man. Just like it feels like we're always missing something. We always,
I
we
mean,
always
Darko might have to bring the pizza party back because no 3 wins in a row yet for this team. They got two. What did that have been last week or 2 weeks ago?
yeah.
They had back-to-back wins against Indy and Mini, but yeah, maybe another pizza party would do wonders.
That honestly, like him just making that joke about the pizza party, like even if it wasn't that serious, it brought the vibes up. Honestly, since they were losing, it just like every time we kind of hinted at that pizza party, everyone was celebrating,
Yeah, it got to the point where like it was like becoming a meme and like people were joking about it and it was becoming like oh wow, you guys are gonna get pizza for 3 straight wins. Like it became like such a sad. I don't even think it wasn't even a. I think Darko said it wasn't even like originally like that.
Yeah,
Like it was.
it was like a dinner or something, right? They're gonna go for dinner, like.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, like I don't know if you have anything else you want to add about the team, but
No, I think we touched on everything. We
mhm,
touched on Scotty coming back, playing that point guard role. He's been great. Defense has been turning up. Let's see if it continues with big stretches.
mhm,
We recapped the 905, everything that's been going on. They're 2-6. Touched on the injuries.
yeah,
Hopefully they're coming back. We talked about the quartet at Jays.
yeah.
I think we touched on everything,
I think
Kyle.
we did.
I think that'll do it.
Yeah, it sounds good. Excited for this week. A lot of big tests for the Raptors coming up. The big boys are coming to Toronto to play. But that's all we can do is just hope and pray. Hoping where we get competitive games. What else can you really ask for? The boys are trying their best out there. It's been fun. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Run It Back. If you can, like, subscribe, share the video to your friends. Hopefully, we get our names out there more, get Raptors Republic out there. If you want more quality content, I suggest checking out RaptorsRepublic.com. Cody's got a great pieces up there. Zolfi, Samson, you name it. Everyone's up there doing their thing. And one more thing, Fanatics, again, we are doing the giveaway on RaptorsRepublic.com. If you want a chance at winning a $250 gift card, again, to either get stuff for yourself, your friends, your family, your loved ones. Christmas is right around the corner. I suggest checking it out and signing up. And we will see you guys next week for another episode as we run it back.